Hello traders, welcome to Flow with the Markets, this time on Thursday because we wanted to wait for the FOMC statement and news release in order to potentially see what could be happening for the rest of the week. Now we just have to trade today and on Friday, and personally I have been waiting all week, didn't really engage into anything. There were some moves here and there, I was mainly just tape reading and observing. And right now, after this news release is out, it's time to focus to potentially really try to forecast what could happen. But again, it's still a little bit tricky. It's still a little bit indecisive. So, of course, let's jump into the analysis and see what we got so far. All right. So, again, make sure to watch out for your news. Today, we have a lot of news. So, we're having a lot of Euro news, Euro here, Euro here, Euro here. We're having GBP PMI, and we're also having a GBP monetary policy statement as well. Then that is paired with the unemployment claims coming out a little bit later for the US. So again, today is going to be turned out very volatile as well. And I would expect also tomorrow to be volatile and even better than today, because today is potentially going to show us whether the market actually wants to continue with yesterday's massive momentum. Now, I want to start on the weekly time frame on the DXY, because we're tapping into that weekly imbalance that was created last week. And again, not to forget that we're coming from a monthly bearish imbalance. So overall, the bias is bearish, right? But we're still, of course, waiting for that confirmation. And now yesterday, it did feel like it's actually here. But right now, we are getting, once again, a little bit messy. So from here, since we failed that bearish daily imbalance, then we potentially forecasted that it could be coming into the next daily one. And here we had a weekly. The weekly kind of got broken. Then we're coming back down again, all the way to that daily imbalance that hasn't been tapped. But of course, there is also another little confluence for bearishness, is that we had this very recent daily bullish imbalance that failed yesterday. So today, I thought that this daily bullish imbalance is only going to cause the market to react and then to potentially roll to the downside, because the overall sentiment right now is a bearish dollar. There is no rate cut, there is no rate hike, there is nothing. Powell kind of was a little bit 50-50, economy doing good, unemployment being low, GDP being good. So they're on the target towards inflation. But again, you can see investors first perceived it bearish. This morning, it's starting to look a little bit different. So then we go on to the forward time frame. Okay, this is still acting crazy. Somebody's gonna call me out for saying that my charts are changing, but just this morning there was a massive wick like that. There was a massive wick like this. The market looked exactly like that. So again, I did my morning analysis and I said that this could again be a data glitch, and right now it is gone, which is good. So what we can potentially say right now is that this 4-hourly zone paired with this 4-hourly overall supply zone, order block, whatever you like to call it, that could be the potential kind of last resort for price in order to push down. Now we're coming into it with a lot of strength. So right now, again, towards pretty much today and for the rest of the day, we should be observing how the market is going to react from this zone. It's coming in very bullish. So again, what I would personally want to wait for is for the 50-minute to be making new structure and then to start changing that structure and to start pointing lower. And as it starts doing this, then of course we're going to start seeing some clear bearish signs. And not to say that even tomorrow we could also potentially continue going lower. Now, again, we're having this very nice bullish move because we're responding from this very strong unmitigated imbalance. So that is causing the market to move up. What I do not like immediately is that we're not going to be having a new bearish daily imbalance because we just pretty much filled it. So as I said, the last resort for price right now is pretty much that 4-hourly zone here. If we don't start rejecting from this one and start pushing lower, then we could once again expect longs, but that is going to come all the way next week. For now, I am simply focused on shorts on the dollar until proven otherwise. Now, of course, I could be proven otherwise if within the next, let's say, 2 hours. So if in the next 6 hours and 20 minutes, we have a new bullish 4-hourly imbalance here, that is not going to be a good sign. So essentially within the next 6 hours and 20 minutes. Why 6 hours and 20 minutes? Well, because we have 2 hours and 20 minutes for this 4-hourly candle to close, which is looking very strong. And then we have another 4 hours to potentially print a new bullish 4-hourly imbalance. And that's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. So essentially what I want to see is for the market to potentially even close this candle and for the next candle to already start pushing lower, potentially actually closing that new potential bullish hourly imbalance. So that is my overall outlook on the DXY, overall bearish. And of course, we then transfer on to EU, the next pair on the list. Now here again, we opened the week very nicely. We had this daily imbalance. The market tapped and followed through very nicely. There was a very nice trade on Monday. I think it developed a little bit early. No, it wasn't early. I don't remember. Yeah, there was a very nice trade, but again, the 50-minute just started sliding down. Then we had on Tuesday, the 50 minutes just sliding down again. Then even on Wednesday, the market slided down. It was very kind of, there were some moves, but it was very tricky. It was like a manipulation because when you get just moves like this, right, just straight push down, no pullbacks, no imbalance filled, no entry opportunities, then another push down like this, then another push down like this, that is usually manipulation, what I've spotted. So again, don't go FOMO. Now on the daily time frame, it is a little bit different than the DXY because here the potential bullish daily imbalance to be created is all the way down there. So if today does not cross this line, then tomorrow we're going to be having a daily bullish imbalance on EU, and that could actually be the catalyst for the market going higher. So today is a little bit 50-50. This is why you have to be really patient. And in order for us to go long right now, we really have to see a very good setup. Now, currently, we're responding from this very big imbalance. We're having this overall zone to the left as well. This very big sell to buy. That is an overall area to potentially respond from. And currently, we're coming in very bearish once again, which is something that I don't like. In 20 minutes, we're going to close this massive hourly candle. So again, I don't like it a lot for longs right now. The hourly time frame is printing an hourly imbalance. It potentially could print even one more in 1 hour. So it's a very, very, very strong pullback. And you can see the 50-minute as well is just sliding very nicely down. But again, what I told you, when the market slides very nicely down without any entries, it's usually manipulation. So again, I will be waiting. I will definitely be waiting for London session. I might show back in New York to see if we're starting to get any bullish signs. Because right now, trying to go short, something like this is low probability. We're tapping into a hourly zone. We're overall bullish from yesterday. We're having an overall bullish narrative. The weekly time frame is also bullish. Let's not forget that we have this weekly imbalance right here. At the start of the week, it just looked like it wanted to break. Right on the daily, we kind of started having, you can see that we didn't really have a clear close below it on the daily. But right now, overall, the weekly candle is starting to turn like a very nice wick. So again, potentially today, tomorrow, or all the way next week, we could potentially be looking to continue higher. But again, we never know. The market tends to change very fast, so don't marry a setup. But once again, looking for potential longs right now on Euro USD. But first of all, I would even look for the 1 hourly time frame to start shifting. But minimum 50-minute bullish shifts. GU, exactly the same story. Now here we're again having that weekly imbalance that the market looked like it wanted to break, but it did not. It just came back to tap into this OB here, demand zone, tapped in, very nicely rejecting right now. Going to the daily time frame, we're currently having this daily imbalance paired with also this overall daily bearish OB. So that is what is causing the market to react very nicely, which also makes me think that today it could be tricky, but then tomorrow, same on GU, same on EU, if we actually form this daily bullish imbalance, which is coming from a weekly imbalance, that is going to be a very powerful trade to potentially on Friday to run higher. Again, is this going to happen today? Is it going to happen on Friday? Well, only time will show. Right now, similar to EU, we're having this very massive forward imbalance. And when you have a very massive imbalance like this, you usually don't know where the market is going to stop. So once again, how do you know? Well, you wait for lower time frame shift. So right now, on the hourly time frame, it's quite bearish. On the 50-minute also, it's quite bearish. It took out the Asian high and just started reversing. It's very volatile and very momentous to the downside. So this is not something that you just want to go long on. It's not also something that you want to go short on based on the overall narrative that we have. So once again, I do believe we're just filling out that massive imbalance we had yesterday to offer that fair value because we had only that massive bullishness. Right now we're getting that pullback to rebalance. And then maybe tomorrow we can start heading higher. So that is my overall expectation, either longs today or longs tomorrow. The main thing that I'm monitoring right now is if that daily imbalance is going to form today. All right, that is the main focus. Now, pretty much the pairs are all the same. There is Aussie dollar, doesn't have a weekly imbalance, had this daily, tapped in, pushing higher right now. Already took out the previous daily imbalance yesterday, and right now it's already pushing above it. Right now it's potentially entering into that bearish OB to potentially cause a reaction. And once again, it is potentially printing a new daily bullish imbalance, which is what I think is going to be the place, the high probability place to be entering longs from. Now, again, here we have a very recent hourly zone that we can definitely potentially continue higher from. But again, what I would require from that right now is to be dropping on the 50-minute time frame and be looking for some clear, nice shifts, a nice shift of order flow. That is a trend change and then a structure break. Because again, if you're having a downtrend and you just get the trend change, that is a first sign. But oftentimes the market does something like this. How you can avoid this? Well, you wait for one more break higher with an imbalance to confirm that order flow is actually going. So again, essentially, this is what I'm currently looking for overall from this hourly zone. Nothing more to say. It's quite 50-50 looking at the overall bearishness today. It could continue going lower all the way until tomorrow. I don't want to go short because it's a low probability, so patiently waiting. I waited for quite a couple of days, so I'm not just going to rush into a trade today and take a stupid trade after 3 days of waiting. Now, NZD USD, not a pair that I'm interested in. It took out the weekly low. It took out the month. This is a monthly low. Yeah, it took out the previous. No, let me just remove all these lines. Yeah, so we took out the previous monthly low. That is a weekly low as well. That is a daily low right here as well. And we very nicely rejected away from it. And right now we're tapping into this sort of very nice daily imbalance, which is going to be a lot of resistance for price. So it's not going to be able to push higher. But coming off from this sweep of this low, I do believe it could eventually, of course, continue higher with the rest of the currencies. But it's pretty much my least favorite pair because it has a lot of daily imbalances to potentially battle with. So right now, tapping one daily imbalance, potentially big pullback, then another one, then again pullback. While, for example, AU, if you look at AU, just go to it, it doesn't have anything like this. It doesn't have anything like this. So if you want to take a trade, then it's going to be AU because this one, if it goes higher, it's going to snap higher much faster. So again, on NU, patiently waiting once again, could continue higher. We're having a very minuscule imbalance here, and then of course the main one, the lower one, is right here. Or of course your choice is to wait for a daily, but here we're not having a daily imbalance. So yeah, this NZUSD definitely not looking great. Not looking great, so I'm not looking at it. Now gold again yesterday with the Fed. So this one was actually pretty nice. We had a weekly imbalance going higher, perfectly aligning with that zone that we spoke about on the weekly outlook to the left. It just perfectly pinged it. Then it consolidated for, yeah, pretty much pinged it on Monday, Tuesday chop, and then on Wednesday yesterday we're massively rallying higher, and today we're just taking that previous it's the previous weekly high, which is pretty much our weekly target, daily high, of course. Today we're going to be forming a potentially new daily imbalance that could be a potential area to continue higher from if we're going to continue higher. But now again, keep in mind that when we have all-time highs, it's usually a little bit tricky. So definitely wait for a clear pullback. Right now, of course, similar to the rest of the pairs, we do have this forward imbalance to continue higher from. All right, so that could be a potential area to be looking for longs, but I would prefer, once again, the higher time frames are always the best. So wait for this candle to close, then wait tomorrow for the market to come into the daily, and then potentially look to go long. Right now, a good long confirmation will once again be a very nice 15-minute shift. Although, once again, I would avoid trading gold right now. So if you didn't catch the long here, which I think would have been hard because this market just was very choppy all the way until the news release. So exactly the news release came out and then it popped higher. So not sure if you just gamble and just place a buy here. That's quite risky according to me because it could have swept down very easily. But right now, after taking that massive liquidity, new all-time highs, I would wait for a bigger pullback, exactly the same like this, and then to potentially once again target something higher. So be careful on gold. Overall bullish bias. We could either go higher from this zone or of course tomorrow from the daily zone. And if you start seeing different structure and bearish imbalances being printed, then of course watch out. USD JPY is very bullish because Bank of Japan, for the first time since 2016, actually removed their negative interest rates. So they went from minus 0.10 to 0.10, which is very bearish for, sorry, it's yeah, doing this, it's actually taking money out of the yen, because then right now they didn't have any costs for borrowing, but right now people do have those costs for borrowing. And yeah, pretty much right now money's flowing outside of the JPY to potentially other currencies. And we can see since that was announced, we just massively started to rally higher, potentially getting to these what looks like to be all-time highs. I know it's not, I don't have the data here. 2016, there is still something right here, but let's just actually perceive it as all-time highs, because that is a very, very, very massive high right there. Coming close to that on the daily time frame today, we are tapping into a very, this is actually not a bad long trade. The only thing that worries me is that if the DXY is actually bearish like it is, this one might find it a little bit hard to push down. So we're tapping in a daily imbalance. We're coming in at 4 hourly right now, which is of course a lower time frame, so the daily should prevail. And right now, what is important to monitor is lower time frames like the hourly time frame and the 50-minute time frame. Here we have very nice imbalances going higher on the 1 hourly. We actually tapped this one just very briefly here. We tapped it in. Did we tap it in? The low here is 8. Yeah, it's perfectly equal. God damn it. It's perfectly equal. So right now we're going higher. I would expect some sort of a reaction from this hourly zone, but currently we don't really have a potential area to enter from. So I would expect something like this to form, but personally I'm not really looking at UJ, taking into account that there is a little bit of a conflict right now, because I'm overall bearish on the dollar and I'm overall bearish on the JPY as a currency. So one has to be stronger, but it does look like the dollar is strong. So if you're looking to trade UJ, I would say overall long bias, just wait for a proper area to enter. Right, we don't have it right now, so I'm gonna wait for it to form. Even if you wait for 4 more hours to see if we're going to be having a forward imbalance, because we have, for example, candle 1, candle 2, and then if candle 3 does not pull back all the way down here and it forms a bullish forward imbalance, that could be a very nice long setup. So again, give it time, give it patience, and you only come to grab the money when it makes full sense. Now EJ and GJ, they're just very nicely popping higher. Again, based on that news release, they were looking very, very, very choppy. All the way until the news release, right now popped higher, taking out big highs. So I'm not interested. I'm not looking for longs. I'm not looking for shorts, because they're pretty much at a very, very big top, which is something that does not interest me. Indices, exactly the same. Exactly the same. They were very tricky this week. I was observing them, but I didn't take any trades on the indices, was just patiently waiting. Bearishness here, bullishness here, bearishness here, bullishness here, and again, it just consolidated before the FOMC came out, and we just popped, and right now we're making new all-time highs. And when again we have new all-time highs, well, the best thing is to just wait. Wait for weekly imbalances, wait for daily imbalances. We could have a daily imbalance created today when the market closes, and then tomorrow we could be trading from that one. Because right now, trying to chase the 40 time frame is low probability. It's low probability because we can consolidate, and then it could pull back to the daily, and then it could go higher. So pretty much I am skipping. I'm skipping the indices. ES or SPX is very nicely going higher. So again, we should be looking for a pullback. NASDAQ, it is just about to take out the it actually took out the all-time highs. Slightly bit weaker. You see that SPX is already way above. This one is still kind of just taking out the all-time highs. Probably some tech stocks are taking a hit. But for tomorrow, again, we have that daily zone aligning with that very nice big sell to buy to the left. That could act as a lot of support. And potentially tomorrow, I will be looking for a setup like this. Today, again, do not chase it. It's just taking all-time highs. It start rejecting. Don't chase it. Wait for today, tomorrow pullback, and then you can get a very nice quick Friday trade. DAX, the same. I was paper trading DAX a lot because it's an instrument that I plan to master a little bit, as I really want to get into just London trading eventually. And the DAX moves very nice during London. It tends to get very choppy, then it tends to impulse a lot. Right now, once again, I am looking for that daily imbalance to form today. So waiting for the whole day today, 12 hours, form tomorrow, London session, tap into that daily, very quick trade towards that previous daily high. That is going to be a great trade idea. We had something similar here on Thursday. Daily imbalance, the market taps in and took out the high. Again, at the end of the day, it closed bearish, but the first the setup developed. So exactly something like this is what I'm looking for. So today, not chasing it on the 4H, because right now there is a fall imbalance and you can drop in, you can go on the 5 minutes, you can go on the 50 minute, and you're going to take a long and then you're going to get chopped out. You're going to get chopped out because the market is preparing candle 3 on the daily in order to tap into it tomorrow and then to potentially go. So again, patience on the indices. US 30 also starting to very nicely rally higher. There were some bearish signs across the indices board, but again, when the Fed came out, massively bullish right now, taking all-time highs once again. So similar to the rest of the indices, waiting for that daily imbalance to form today and then looking to trade it tomorrow. So with that being said, I mean, it's very tricky right now. I really don't like how the dollar is pushing this morning. I really don't like, because with this bearish push down yesterday, is it manipulation? Is it really continuation? Like, it's still kind of 50-50. It's still, right now, seeing this daily imbalance not being created is a very big red flag for me. Because if this market was going to go bearish, it should have today either consolidated to form a new daily bearish imbalance or even continue to push lower. Right now, we're just massively pulling back. Let's see. Again, observing the 50-minute, observing the hourly, waiting, for example, for imbalances to start failing and for new bearish to start printing, and only then I'm going to engage. And if, of course, as I told you, in 6 hours, we have a new hourly bullish, then that is going to be a very big red flag. So again, stay patient. So far, it has been really tricky. It's going to be getting better. Q2 is almost here, so let's wait for it. And again, yeah, we can see EU right now. Very bad sign for longs. Very, very bad sign for longs. It's coming actually very close to not creating a new daily imbalance. Potentially in another 4 hours, we're going to have a 4-hourly bearish. So very not nice. Very much not nice. I was actually looking this morning to short it into that 4-hourly imbalance, but again, it just opened and it just started printing massive bearish candles. The only entry I saw was this from the top on the 5-minute, but again, just to me, a 5-minute confirmation like this is not enough. Right now, it just keeps dumping like crazy. So guess what? I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to wait for clear confirmation of something that is very clear. Right now, we're having a massive push up, a massive push down. Not good. Same for GU. Pulling back very nicely. So again, is it going to start shifting on the 50-minute? Is it going to be creating a new daily imbalance bullish to potentially trade from that tomorrow? Let's see. So pretty much everything looks like this. We're having that today, that very massive bullish DXY momentum going higher, which pushes all the rest of the currencies down. So is this going to sustain? Is it going to reject? Well, that is what we have to see today, and then potentially tomorrow to see if we can trade something. So that's the update. Again, nothing interesting for me. I'm absolutely patient this week. Haven't taken any trades at all. Today, I was actually excited to take something, but seeing at how the market is developing, it is once again going to need some time. And it's perfectly fine like this. If you can maintain patient, I'm quite proud of myself that I didn't really engage into anything, just patient, waiting for something that is just very clear to just go in there, execute, grab the money, and call it a week, right? So that's from me. Let me know how are you developing so far this week. Did you take any trades? Did you take any wins, any stop losses? Let me know, and I'm gonna talk to you on the weekly outlook and setups.